I want to talk about why one would take the tiny human brains that you can grow from stem cells and put them in an engineered body. So specifically, what we talked about was taking a brain organoid, so that's a little brain, and you can attach it to an eye organoid, so you can give it an eye that can perceive light, and then you give it the ability to pass through neurons and control muscles operating as the body. What has effectively been created is a bodyoid with a brain. So you can create all sorts of little organs, and you can even create a body minus the brain. This was the concept of making a bodyoid, so you have something that you can run experiments on, minus the brain, but you can also reverse engineer it and create all of it in what I call a homunculus. I say homunculus affectionately, but it really allows researchers to conduct research without the need for an animal or a person involved. Now, the brain organoids, being the spookiest of all of them, are the disembodied brains, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do with them. One of the big ideas was using them to repair strokes, and that has been done in mice, it's been done in monkey models. You can grow a tiny human brain, transplant that into another brain, and it will grow and repair the damage. It'll make projections throughout the brain that it's been put in. And weirdly, yes, it has been put in mice. When placed in mice, it is capable of changing behavior in the mouse. It's also capable of restoring function when damage has occurred. If you look at this picture, you can see why it really hasn't been tried in humans. While it does have a lot of positive effects, that's not what a brain should look like. So we as humanity want to make sure that the research is up to par and more harm will not be done. If the first experiments in getting these into people don't go well, it could hamstring the entire field. Now, I do have several ethical questions about the bodyoids, and really, I don't even know what I think about it any longer. Creating a cloned body without a brain would hypothetically be an ethical way to run experiments, but you can clearly reverse engineer it. Create a body with a brain, so long as you grow it separately from a cloned human and it's not, made from an embryo, it's just made from cells. It's ethical, right? You can see a mouse brain here, and it has a brain organoid that has been grown for 8 months inside of its skull. It really does fit with it. It starts working with the native neurons, and it vascularizes, and it functions. This is just one way to keep them alive long term. Vascularizing them has come a very long way. You could even give them little hearts. But really, the best way to keep one alive is inside of the body of something else. But that being human brains, there's our ethical questions about what the experience is. And when you experiment on animals and even people under certain circumstances, there is always the risk of suffering. This pushes the boundaries of what ethics could have ever conceived of. I don't think anyone thought that this would happen. I also don't think we've reached the logical conclusion in which we decide if this stuff is ethical yet. Until a mouse starts speaking for itself, I don't think it's going to be able to tell us what its experience is like. And this will save lives. It gives us access to research organism subjects that we never could have imagined, and there would have been a lot greater risk to using those subjects. This is an alternative to making digital clones. When you make a digital clone, you essentially make a model of a brain or an organism. You can even model the spiking patterns in their brain, and it allows you to run experiments on a computer, essentially. This is the one step in between those clones. You're making a mouse with cloned brains. And keeping these alive for a year or longer is getting a lot more feasible because, like I said, you can provide it with an artificial vascular system. You can essentially act like a heart that's going to be pumping oxygenated fluid around it and through it, keeping it from expiring of hypoxia. I really like that one. That's essentially like a grown heart for it. So you just have like a vascular organoid that's been fused to the brain organoid, and it's like the same size as it. It's basically giving it a heart-brain thing. Weird, yes, but it's also cutting edge. What do you think of these guys? Because I really can't tell you if it's ethical or not. I've spent so much time reading about them. It's weird, yes, but ethical? I have no idea.